Today we're going to discuss drug testing in high school sports. This issue is a very controversial issue, especially in the state of Texas. You don't have any guidelines or requirements as far as drug testing goes. There are some high schools that actually drug test at random, and then there are some high schools that do not. There is no actual requirement for it, so some schools don't feel the need to do so unless students are driving to school or something of that nature, right? Like that. My view on it is I think especially athletes should be drug tested, and there are a few different reasons why. When you look at the world that we live in today, especially at the high school that I work at, one of our biggest issues that we have at our school is vapes. Some of the vapes are just nicotine. Some of the vapes contain marijuana. And when we think about, marijuana in the sense of the world that we live in today, some states have legalized it and some haven't. But there are still stipulations and requirements for you to be able to consume the marijuana in the legal states. As a student athlete, and especially a student athlete in high school, there are several side effects that can harm the adolescent, such as lack of focus, lack in harming themselves as far as their ability to remember things. We also have to deal with students just not being able to, most of them aren't working, so that they're having to find means to get those type of things. So it takes them away from their schoolwork, takes them away from athletics. And that's just one side of the drug testing. But the other side that most people fail to really think about is the steroid use or the PED use. PED stands for personal enhancement drugs. So there are several different ways that an athlete may use a PED to enhance their abilities. And those enhancements aren't usually natural. When we look at the actual statistics, statistics show that over 8% of athletes have used some form of a PED, whether that be steroid use or anything of that nature. Those steroids do harm their body because they are putting something in that is not natural, that is forcing the body to grow as far as muscle mass and things like that, that isn't natural. They're not having to truly work as hard to gain that muscle mass and that strength. They are usually getting it through that steroid use, which in turns, eats up livers and organisms and things like that. This is the reason why I think that drug testing in high school sports should be required.